Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the March 18th regular session of the Board of Trustees. This meeting is now called to order. We will stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Trustee Duraro?
Present.
Trustee Herrera?
Present.
Trustee Codman?
Present.
Trustee Quezada?
Present.
And Mayor Garrity.
Present.
Do we have any mayors and trustees announcements?
Yes, we do. I will just say on the cover of the newspaper this week, twice already, there have been stories about potholes. We know it's been a horrible winter. We know there are potholes on the roads. And fortunately, tonight we're going to have our department heads report to us, and I think that our head of DPW, village engineer Paul Fraioli, will update us a little bit on how that's moving forward. And I also want to let everybody know that on April 18th, Green Ossining will be sponsoring the Earth Day Festival. It's the 5th annual festival, and that right now is your opportunity if you would like to sponsor the event or if you would like to sign up to have a booth at the event. It's only $10 to have a booth, but they're asking for vendors to participate who have a particular mission that's similar to the goals of Green Ossining, which is sustainable lifestyle and community groups that are focused on making our community a better place. So if you're interested at all in just finding out how to put it on your calendar, that's April 18th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Go to greenossining.org. And I hope you'll come and show up. It's a terrific day. It always is. And there'll be live music all day long. The Mike Risco Band is our host. Mike will be our host for the day. They're performing. So is KJ Dennert. And so is a group called Solar Punch. And in fact, the reason why Solar Punch is such a part of it this year is because the whole theme of the event is solar, supporting our Solarize Ossining Briarcliff program. And this year's stage will be powered by solar power that Solar Punch is providing. So it should be a really interesting challenge. I hope you'll sign up for a booth if that makes sense for your organization or business, or come on down for the event on April 18th. Anyone else?
I want to remind everybody that this Sunday, March 22nd, at the Boudars Theater is a free concert with James Maddock. This is a program that's put on by the Ossining Library Foundation Words and Music Concert Series. It's one of 6 concerts that's going to take place, 3 now and the end of the spring, and then 3 more next fall. It's a great program. James Maddock is a wonderful singer-songwriter, storyteller, and I strongly recommend that you go see him. It's a free concert. You can't beat that. 2 o'clock. That's this Sunday, March 22nd at the Boudars Theater. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes. Before I actually get started, I wanted to just, I promised a lot of residents that I would say this today. As we all know, we've had a lot of snow the past couple of months, and now that it's finally melting, there's a lot of garbage and debris. So definitely be patient as all residents and business owners and our village employees get out there and try to, bring our village back to speed as we start and welcome the spring. But as you're walking throughout town and you see a Coke bottle or garbage flying around, please feel free to pick it up and throw it out on your own. It's really important that we start to foster an environment and a community that cares about itself and does not walk past trash. So that's just one little thing I personally had to say. I'll be having office hours next Thursday, March 26th. It'll be on the road. I'll be at the Conte Cafe, the Old Kumbayas on Main Street from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's next Thursday, March 26th. There will be a suicide prevention workshop next Monday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. at the Rec Center. This workshop is entitled Mental and Emotional State of Youth. You could email your RSVP to rsvp@sisfi.org. And Ossining High School is premiering Loserville, their spring musical. It begins tomorrow, opening night at 7 p.m. It continues on Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 7 p.m., and that is at the Ossining High School Auditorium. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, I can tell you, I don't have physical office hours, but here's the deal. You want to talk to me, my number is 914-774-2646 or Durayo at villageofossining.org. right? And email me, call me. I have a rule of a 24-hour turnaround. Even if my answer is I haven't found the answer yet, you will hear from me within 24 hours of any message I get. But mostly I answer my phone. So you got an idea, you got a beef, you want something done, the snow's piled up in front of your house too high, give me a call and I'll get something done about it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
We will move on to administrative reports, and we will begin with Village Manager Richard Lyons.
Thank you, Village Board, members of the public, residents, and business owners. This evening marks my final legislative session attendance with the Village of Ossining as Village Manager. After approximately 22 years of service with the village, I will be retiring on March 30th at the close of business. I want to take this opportunity to thank this village board and the prior boards for the opportunity to serve and for giving me the latitude to implement the direction and the goals and the objectives of the boards for the last 5 years. I am extremely proud of the accomplishments of the Village of Ossining during my tenure as village manager, many of which had been in the planning or conceptual stages for years. These collective accomplishments, together with new initiatives, have indeed placed the village on the map in more ways than one and garnered countywide and regional attention. The village is well known for its diversity and welcoming community, and now as well for its new development in the residential and the business sectors, for its fiscal stability amongst communities in the county of Westchester, and in its implementation of initiatives and progressive governance, and the embracing of innovations and opportunities. I particularly thank and acknowledge the efforts and the consistent hard work and the collaborative can-do spirit of the village's staff, department heads, and village personnel. I thank you, and I salute you all. I am familiar, and I've grown even more familiar with some of the other communities in the county, and the department heads here are responsible in a major and deserve due credit for the successes and the positive recognition that the village has and is receiving and will continue to receive, I'm sure. Thanks to all, and I wish the very best for the Village of Ossining, its government, its department heads and personnel, and its residents and business community. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to point out an item on your agenda this evening having to do with the adoption of local law number 1, which is entitled Revision to the Village Code Relevant to the Village's Enforcement of New York State Uniform Code Violations. As I've stated in the past, this is in response to recent case law which indicates due to a lack of action at the Department of State level having to do with promulgation of timeframes within which enforcement and compliance with New York State codes, that the local jurisdictions didn't have the authority to proceed. So now that emergency rulemaking is in place, this is a necessary step to take in order to assist our code enforcement officers and our building inspectors. So moving forward with enforcement, and as soon as this local law is filed, it becomes effective, and we will commence the enforcement in due course. I had a meeting today with the building inspector, and we're ready to go. We've drafted the appropriate language to the orders to remedy, and we expect to be back at 100% full speed ahead as soon as this is filed. So I thank you for taking this on expeditiously, and I appreciate that your attention will be placed today to putting this into local law. We'll get the code revised as soon as General Code sends the replacement pages. So thank you for doing that. I also wanted to thank the board and the past boards for the opportunity to work with Richard. Richard's been a mentor, and as you know, I attempted to step into his shoes as corporation counsel, and having an office down the hall from the former corporation counsel has been a blessing and a curse, but mostly a blessing. But I look forward to his counsel as the years move ahead, because his wealth of knowledge, historical knowledge, vis-a-vis the village is invaluable, and I consider myself a friend, and I have his email account, and I plan to use it on a regular basis. So thank you, Richard.
Police Chief Joseph Burton.
Good evening. Monthly statistics for February 2013. A lot of entries recorded, 2,859. Vehicle and traffic summonses issued, 312. Parking summonses, 1,125. Part 1 crimes uniform crime reports were 17. Arrests for the month were 50. 26 penal law, 2 village ordinances, and 22 vehicle and traffic. And I know it's been at a couple meetings that the PBA, Ossining PBA, will having a 1013 fundraiser. A 1013 is when a police officer needs assistance now, 1013, and then, just stand back because they'll all be responding. Eddie Walker lost his house a couple weeks ago and will be displaced from a minimum 6 months to almost a year before he can get back back into his house. So there's a lot of bills that we're trying to offset. So we're going to have the fundraiser March 29th from 4 to 10 p.m. That's a Sunday at the Maya Riviera on North State Road. So if you can come over, help out, everything would be appreciated. And last but not least, the fire chief and I would like to invite you to Hudson Valley Community College tomorrow night, Friday night, to see our girls' high school basketball team playing the semifinals in the state. And hopefully you can stay the next night and see them Saturday night take the championship again for the 3rd straight time. We enjoy seeing them. We enjoy following them. It's a lot of fun. They're a great group. But we like to see them win, so if nothing else to do and need to travel for a couple hours, come up to Troy and see them play. That's Saturday night at 8 o'clock at Hudson Valley Community College.
Fire Chief Matt Scarduzio.
Before the department heads, could Assistant Village Manager Christina Papes make a comment? She asked us to.
Thank you, Mayor. I had asked the mayor, actually, if I could say a few words with regard to Richard Lyons. Now, I know tonight isn't the night reserved to honor him. We're going to be doing that next week, and there was a lot of people who expressed interest in taking the time to recognize his work. But I wanted to take this opportunity at a legislative formal meeting, it's on the record, if you would, to speak to some of Mr. Lyons' character and the characteristics and traits that many people don't see. And having the opportunity to work closely with him for several years, I'm able to witness firsthand his true dedication to the community, his ethics, his love for this community, and his staff, and innovative ideas and approaches that he would take to things, as well as his wisdom and professionalism that I know is valued by the department heads and the staff. And also appreciate some of the things that he has done as far as improving the culture for our community with Bicentennial Project and raising the awareness for some of the arts within the municipality, and I mean that as a corporation, not just not the community as overall. And that's it. I really want to thank him for his service, and again, just let everyone know what a pleasure it was to deal with him, and we will miss you.
Fire Chief Matt Scarduzio.
Good evening, Mrs. Mayor, member of the board. To date, the Ossining Fire Department has responded to 155 alarms. Just within this past month, we've had 3 major calls, which included 2 roof collapses, one in the rear of 25 State Street. A lot of people think that was a sinkhole. It was actually classified as a roof collapse. The other one was at the Nolan's Auto Body Shop at 2 Havel Street. The total roof came down, lost some vehicles. No life or anything was lost. And we also responded to that one structure fire at Detective Walker's house. Just a little advanced, mark your calendars. The Ossining Fire Department annual inspection will be held on June 27th, as well as our annual fire department parade will be held on August 7th. At this time, I also want to thank the village board. I want to thank Richard, Tom, and Dale for all the work that they did to get our new apparatus delivered into the village. And just to bring you up to date, we should be putting that into service hopefully within the first or second week of April. You guys have been working hard and they're training almost every day on it with the reps. And I just want to take a quick minute on behalf of myself and the fire department. Richard, we'd like to thank you very much for all your service to this village and everything that you have done for the fire department over the years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Village Engineer Paul Fraioli.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I will start this evening following up on the Mayor's comments regarding the road conditions in the village of Ossining. I think the road conditions are exactly what we expected going through the winter we went through with the sub-zero temperatures we had for such a long duration, and the amount of snow and precipitation we had and the salt that's required to take care of those roads and keep them passable. We have exactly what we expected to have, and rest assured, just like every other year, we will be out there, and we will gauge the response to road restoration and pothole repair accordingly. And if we're not doing that adequately, we'll seek the necessary funds and time to do that. But right now, we're going to keep it business as usual. It's not our first springtime, and it's not our first pothole event. So hopefully we will do that to a satisfactory nature, and if we don't, I'm sure I'll hear about it. I'd like to segue now into some notes that we're accomplishing in the Department of Public Works this last month. If any of the public had the opportunity to watch either live or on any of the venue of tapes that we have of the last week's work session, they may have noticed that the village presented a proposal from a contractor to enter into a design-build agreement with us for installation of light-emitting diode or LED lighting systems in the majority of our decorative and Cobra head lights that illuminate the sidewalks and streets in the village of Ossining. I encourage everybody to watch that if they have the opportunity and they want to express any comments or interests in this project, as it has the potential to go forward, because once they watch that, I think it will garner the support necessary to bring back, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, the revised proposal that incorporates the comments that we received and also some of the things that we hopefully learn at the town's project proposal with a different consultant that I think they're putting on next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to put all that together in a vat, mix it up, and hopefully we come out with a nice, viable collective project proposal with the town. So that's forthcoming. The big project, as it still is, because we still need to finish it up this spring and this summer, is the Kilbrook. Again, that's a project funded out of our sanitary sewer budget. We still have a couple of components where the path interfaces at Central Avenue and at the Recreation Center. The subsurface work necessary to do the redesign of the path to be incorporated into Chris's deck behind the pool over there was a little delayed because of the frost, but now that that frost is coming out of the ground and the snow has melted, we look to get in there to do that subsurface boring in the next week or two, do some redesign, and hopefully remobilize sometime in early May to complete that path on both ends. and then that project will be substantially complete from a construction perspective. I just want to append one note about the potholes. Right now, if there is anything egregious out there, or if you just want to comment on condition of a road that you would like taken care of by the Department of Public Works, if it's after hours, you can call the police station. They log record for us and send us the notes, or you can call and leave a voicemail after hours, or speak to someone live during regular business hours, 8 to 4:30 at 914-941-4660, and we'll address that via our work order system up there. One of the things that we're working on administratively is, along with the planning department, is hopefully to resurrect the previously CDBG-funded sewer lining project on North Malcolm Street in Ellis Place. Valerie's been in communication with that office, and those funds might be resurrected again and come to us via the CHIPS grant, which I think she's going to discuss a little bit in her presentation. Not the CHIPS where we get our highway funds, but it's an acronym for something else that I'll leave to Valerie. But hopefully we're able to procure the funds to bring that project back on the table again. Excuse me. Sorry. So there was only two more notes that I wanted to cover in closing here, and they're both personnel related. On March 5th at 4:28 p.m., Camila Giselle Marquez entered the world. That's Sophia's beautiful baby girl. She was 7 pounds, 8 ounces, 20 inches, and God bless Sophia, Jason, and her big sister, Lexi. She's a really cute little kid, and I can't wait to meet her. And on a final note to Richard, I met you way back when I started, when you were the counsel for planning, and when you segued into village manager, maybe not as eloquent as everybody has stated so far, but I can say in 5 years' time, which has not been the easiest of times financially and other collateral issues, I'm happy to say we got a lot done. So thank you for that.
Superintendent of Water and Sewers, Andrew Teese.
Good evening, Mayor and Board.
Evening.
Indian Brook Reservoir's at 100%, the capacity. Last month we were at 98%, and we're down to only purchasing 40% of our water from New York City. Last month was 75%. So basically, every day it's been reduced. Well, not every day, but right now we're only purchasing about $2,000 a day worth of water versus what it would have been at 75%. So it's big savings.
Is that what you expect for this season?
Well, right now, judging at the spillway level, at least for the next month, it's there's so much runoff, and we wish we can capture everything, but it can only hold 100 million gallons. So everything else makes its way into the Hudson. The cement water relining project. Important dates for the project are: published notice to bidders Wednesday, March 25th, 2015. The pre-bid meeting will be Wednesday, April 8th, 2015. And the bid opening will be Wednesday, April 22nd, 2015. So we're looking forward to starting that project soon. The spring water distribution hydrant flushing program, we flush every 6 months. It takes approximately 5 weeks to complete. That'll be starting April 6th. And finally, as everybody knows, it's been a very busy year for water main breaks. I will name off the breaks that occurred since January 1st. It's been the most that I've seen in 20 years of water service, so it's in 3 different municipalities, quite a bit. 12 Bracken Road, 8-inch break, 19 Quaker Bridge Road, 8-inch break, 17 Cooper Drive, 8-inch break, 35 Gordon Avenue, 6-inch break, 6 Donald Lane, 6-inch break, 3 Gordon Avenue, 6-inch break, 21 Hillcrest Avenue, 6-inch break. These are all 6 inches for the rest down. Morningside Drive, 155 Croton Avenue, Forest and Marshall, 11 Ridgeview Drive, River Parkway, 30 Calum Avenue, Ganong Drive, and North Malcolm Street. So it's a very busy year. And finally, I just want to thank Richard for his service. for the village. I wish him much success. Pretty trying year with some personnel issues, and I have to say Richard was behind everything that we did 100%, and I'll never forget that. Thank you.
Treasurer Thomas Warren.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Board of Trustees. I want to thank you for considering the lengthy budget modification on tonight's agenda. I hope that Mary Ann has found ways to cut it down a bit in reading, but it's an important budget modification because it's the one that helps make the books look the way they do in the financial reports as we get ready for our audit next week. At the last work session, we had only touched pretty much on the general fund and Section 8 housing fund. I was waiting for some final items to arrive for water and sewer funds, and so I will be submitting a few very minor budget modifications just to do a little bit of window dressing at next week's work session. The good news is that the sewer fund is self-balanced, meaning that that the appropriations were more than the actual expenditures for the year. The water fund, because of some of the challenges, some of those that Andy had mentioned, such as water main breaks, and also the increased amount of water that had to be purchased from New York City, presented some challenges for the water fund. So we are going to have to appropriate some fund balance, but only about $100,000, which is only about 1% of the budget. So overall, that's good news. And now that March is here, we finally were able to bill that last quarterly billing at the start of the month so that we could determine what the actual revenues were for the 2014 year because it was a 3-month billing, part of which went back to December consumption. So in the water fund, actual revenues were $9,285,000, which is just about $100,000 more than what was budgeted. So it's 1%, but it's good news that we were able to achieve our revenue goals for the year in the water fund. And the sewer fund was better. It was about $1,239,000, which was $72,000 more than what was budgeted, about 6.2% more than budgeted. Every month I mentioned that we're continuing our efforts to collect the unpaid first installment property taxes as well as prior year taxes. And I mentioned that as well because it's something that I brought up last week at the work session, which was new news to us since we were able to calculate finally. Once the first 60 days of the year was over, we could calculate our actual real property tax revenues that we're allowed to recognize, and the good news was that we're able to recoup about $137,000 of prior year taxes in the 2014 year. And I also mentioned that because as part of continuing to enforce prior year taxes, we generally have a 2-year redemption period for unpaid taxes, and we're nearing the end of the redemption period for the 2013 tax liens, which was 2012 property taxes. In conjunction with the Corporation Counsel Office, we had sent out the, by certified mail, the notice that the redemption period will be ending on about June 1st, 2015 for those 2013 tax liens. And I also want to give credit to my deputy, Dale Ferreira, who does a great job of trying to track down owners, related parties, other parties such as banks and mortgage companies that might have interest in parties in order to try to get all these unpaid taxes collected. And this week we met with our actuary for general liability purposes and workers' compensation purposes. We need to have an actuary because we're self-insured for workers' compensation and for general liability claims, even though we do have excess coverage under insurance policy. But every year he does a calculation based on our claims experience and exposures, and it was tough a year ago for 2013 when we had to go to the board and say that the actuary recommends that we set aside extra money into the reserve funds. We did ask you, and the board approved $500,000, which still wasn't the full amount needed to be 100% reserved, but we were confident that we would be able to work that off over the next couple of years. But the good news this year is that right now the reserves are more than enough to cover our exposures according to the actuary. So that was good news that I didn't have to come back to you to ask for additional money for the reserve funds. And finally, I too would like to wish Richard good luck and best wishes in the next chapter of your life. And a pleasure to work with you, and I'm honored to have had the opportunity to have been reappointed by you for another term starting in 2014. So thank you and good luck.
Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, Christopher Soy.
Evening, Mayor and Board. Our department, we completed and distributed our 2015 spring and summer brochure on Monday, March 9th. This is the cover of the brochure. It was emailed out through our ActiveNet email distribution list. It was posted on the department homepage, and eventually got it on the village's homepage as well. And also, we utilized our department Facebook page to provide a link to the brochure. So the brochure is out there, and it is available, so encourage everyone to check it out. We also are actively promoting all our spring-summer program information at the community center by providing hard copies of program information. So if there's any issue with access to the online version, we obviously have all our program information at the community center. And we also just recently installed new information display cases in the lobby, so you can walk into the lobby and easy access to all our program information is right there. So we encourage everyone to come down. Our spring program registration will begin online on Tuesday, March 24th, and in person on Tuesday, March 31st, a week later. I just want to also let everyone know that our day camp registration and planning is well underway, and our registration begins online on Monday, April 13th. And we encourage everyone to utilize the online process. It is convenient. You can do it from the comfort of your home and take advantage of signing up online. For those with any issues with access to online, we do have a computer in the lobby of our community center that is fully accessible and is there to be utilized for people to register for our programs, again, with the convenience of online registration. I do also want to remind parents of looking to enroll their children in our day camp program that they need to have a valid and current rec ID card. So if you are unsure or do not have a valid or up-to-date current rec ID card, please do so before registering for the camp program. The in-person camp registration will begin the week of April 20th, and all that specific information again is in our spring-summer brochure.
The online registration for camp was what date again?
The online registration is Monday, April 13th.
At what time in the morning?
At 9 a.m.
All right.
That kicks off. And then a week later, we do our in-person, but again, utilizing the online registration is a nice convenience and avoid lines and waiting. Regarding any of our program information, if you have any questions, please call the rec department 941-3189 for any more details. We do have our Extravaganza event coming up on Saturday, March 28th. We'll be holding we'll be running the event twice, first in Ryder Park at 10 a.m. and then at Nelson Sitting Park at 12 p.m. If we cannot safely and or appropriately facilitate the event outside due to weather or field conditions, we will move it indoors to the community center. We will notify people, but if there is any questions on the location of the event on the day of, again, call the Recreation Department at 941-3189. On the park side of things, since our last meeting, there has been some more snow events, so our parks guys were continued working on that. And now we are hopefully turning the page and moving into our spring prep and putting to bed the winter equipment and getting the spring equipment, making sure that everything's up and running and and looking to purchase the supplies for the ball fields and tennis courts as needed. And then I did want to just mention our Spartan swim team. Earlier in the month of March, had a successful showing at the Westchester Fairfield Swim League Championships. They had overall team placement of 4th, but they had some, individual event winners, and so I just want to congratulate the Spartan swim team on a successful showing at that championship. And then finally, Richard, I've only been around for a couple months, but it was a phone call from your office that began the process of me being able to join the Ossining team. So I just want to thank you for that, and good luck.
Village Planner Valerie Manastra.
Good evening. This report highlights the work, some of the work that has been occurring in the department planning this past month. One of the larger projects we're working on is the Victoria Home, which the applicant proposes to reconstruct their facilities and create a facility for 120 beds. There's a public hearing next Tuesday, March 24th at 7 p.m. at the John Paul Rodriguez Ossining Operations Center on the DEIS. You can view the DEIS either at the Planning Department, at the Village Clerk's Office, or online at www.villageofossining.org under the Seeker webpage. The Planning Board and Board of Architectural Review have reviewed 5 new applications so far this year. The Zoning Board of Appeals has reviewed 4 new applications so far. The Historic Preservation Commission has worked on 2 new applications this year, and it's continuing its work on the Historic Walking Signage Tour. There will be a joint EAC meeting to discuss Solarize Westchester and how they can help on March 23rd, so we're looking forward to that and getting them involved in that project. Green buildings regulations, the village will be commencing work on creating green building codes. We're advertising for community members who are interested on working on the committee. If you are interested, please contact the Assistant Village Manager, Christina Papes, at cpapes@villageofossining.org. And we've also reached out to other land use boards asking them to join as well. And so we're hoping to have the committee created sometime in April. Market Square and Post Office lots, community outreach. The village has created an interactive community engagement website entitled Village of Ossining, Become Part of the Conversation. So please go to www.villageofossining.mindmixer.com or www.villageofossining.org, which has a link from our webpage there to MindMixer. We currently have about 60 participants, and we're hoping to get more. Complete Streets. My planning consultant, Jonathan Kirschenbaum, is working on researching implementation of Complete Streets, including reaching out to Tri-State campaign, a transportation campaign. We intend to present possible next steps in a future work session. However, it's actually been more difficult than we thought, since most municipalities do not have implementation plans or processes set in place. So we're gathering information and trying to come up with some ideas for the village to consider. And then we're also getting information on walking audits and the costs associated with them. And then finally, I also wanted to touch base on the CHIPS funding. As Paul mentioned, there are 2 grants that we will be applying for Westchester County, one dealing with North Malcolm sewer repairs, and the other one dealing with the water relining project that the Department of Water is undertaking. We will probably be coming back for a clarification resolution, because it turns out the county actually wanted the village to state the total project costs, the amount that they're applying for, and the amount that the village will match. So we'll probably be bringing back that at a future work session just for clarification. This was something new that the county added, that they wanted part of the resolutions when I sent them the resolution over the other day. So that we just received word from like 2 days ago, so we'll be back for a clarification resolution. And then finally, Richard, again, I've been working with you since I started here back in 2005, first as Corporation Counsel and then as Village Manager. I wish you all the best. You will be missed. And I want to thank you for all your help and management throughout the years. It was really, really appreciated.
Director of Personnel, Linda McMahon.
Evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees. Just a couple of training updates. We were able to complete our CDL training despite having to postpone it numerous times due to the bad weather, and everything went very well. And during the next 2 weeks, we're going to be having 2 full days of training covering the mandatory topics that will be a review for some and new information for all of our new employees. And last but certainly not least, Richard, I just want to thank you very much for your guidance, trust, and support, not only professionally, but personally, especially this past year, which was pretty traumatic for me. And you were just there for me. Thank you.
Director of Code Enforcement, Al Sirocco.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board.
Evening.
I have the activity report for the Building Department's month of February. We have new complaints this month. We had a total of 51. Broken down, we had 10 construction without building permits, 1 fire damage, 3 fire safety, 1 garbage, 13 heat, 1 illegal discharge, 6 overcrowded living spaces, 12 property maintenance issues, 1 sewage, 2 site plan violations, and 1 village ordinance. We were total complaints year to date. We have a total of 86. Total complaints closed this month. We had a total of 42, and total complaints closed year to date is 97. Notice of violations this month. We had 20 with 69 counts. Broken down, the 20 were as construction without a building permit. We had 6 of them. We had 2 fire safety issues, 5 heat, 5 overcrowded living spaces, 1 property maintenance issue, and 1 village ordinance. Notice of violations year to date, we have 28 with 92 counts. We were able to close this month 13 with 34 counts, and year to date we've closed 36 with 75 counts. Court appearance tickets issued this month, we had 6 with 19 counts. The counts were construction without a building permit. We had 1, 2 heat, 2 overcrowded living spaces, and 1 property maintenance issue. Total court appearance tickets year to date, we have 15 that were issued with 40 counts. Total court appearance tickets closed year to date of 3. Excuse me, I missed 1. Court appearance tickets issued this month were 2, and 3 altogether. Court fines assessed, we had $1,050 this month. Total court fines assessed year to date, $1,200. 29 new building permits, fee totaling $10,719. Year to date permits, we had a total of 36, fee totaling $13,434. Certificates of occupancy, we issued 16. Year to date, 47. Affidavit fees, we had $115 this month. Year to date, $1,147. We had 12 plumbing permits, fee totaling $770. Year to date permits, 26, fee totaling $1,805. We had 15 new electrical permits, fee totaling $1,020. Year to date permits, 14, fee totaling $2,264. We had 3 new backflow applications, fee totaling $300. Year to date, we had 11, fee totaling $1,100. Tree permits, we had 1 this year so far, which is $80. Sign permits, we've had 1 for the year, which is worth $60. And also for pre-date inspections, we've had 1 so far, which is fee totaling $100. We've done 15 new searches, fee totaling $1,550 this month. Year-to-date total, we had a total of 30, with fee totaling $3,100. We had 23 foils completed. Year-to-date, we've had 41 foils completed. Overnight parking inspections, we've had 67 this month. Year-to-date total is 208. Section 8 inspections, we've had 26 this month. Year-to-date total, 34. Fire and assembly inspections, we've had 12 year-to-date and total of 25 so far. Building and plumbing inspections, we've had 118 this month. Year-to-date total 504. Plan reviews completed for building, plumbing, electrical, pre-date, backflow, tree, and sign permits. This month we had 59 reviews. Plan reviews completed year-to-date, we had 105. And a reminder to all property owners. All property owners are required by New York State Code to provide all their tenants a minimum temperature of 68 degrees at all times between the months of between September 15th and May 31st of each year. If anyone does have a heat complaint, please call the building department at 941-3199 during office hours, which are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And if it's after hours, please call the police department at 941-4099. Also, a reminder for smokes and carbon alarms. It is the law. You need to install, every property needs to have smoke and carbons installed. You can call our department, once again, 941-3199, and we will be glad to assist you and to let you know exactly where they need to be installed. And on a note to Richard Lyons, I know Richard always joked around in the beginning of, who hired you? Who hired you? It wasn't me. It was Linda Cooper. I was like, but in the end, you kept me, Rich. So I thank you for that. It's been an honor working with you, and it's been a pleasure. Your professionalism, your knowledge, and your advice have been invaluable to me and the building department. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future. Thank you.
Richard, I'm not on the agenda. However, I do want to take this opportunity. As I was listening to everybody, I was thinking about the fact that you said you've been here for 22 years. Well, most of that 22 years, you and I worked together, whether you were corporation counsel or village manager, and it has been my absolute pleasure to work with you. And I echo the sentiments that you've been always very professional. You always cracked a smile, and you'd come into the office and have us crack a smile. But I wish, well, Freddie and I both wish you well in whatever you do, and whatever you do, you will be a great success. So good luck. Organizational announcements?
Hello, I'm Daisy Briones,
And I'm Harry Campbell.
and we are part of the Chamber of Commerce. We're part of the Board of Directors. So we just want to let you know that we are going to try to be at least one of the board members, directors in each meeting, because we want to be part of the development, and we want to be part of the community, especially with the business community. We really want to encourage right now the business to get strong in Asinine, to bring more revenue in Asinine, and we want to actually get education for them. We are working very hard right now to see how we can bring more members to participate in the business community in Asinine. So we just want to be, let you know that.
Thank you.
So if there's any communication that needs to be brought back to the organization, somebody should be here at the meetings. And also remember that the village fair will be coming 13th.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
you. Anyone else?
Good evening, members of the board, Mayor Miguel Hernandez, 10 North Water Street, Ossining, New York. I'm here on behalf of the Ossining Historic Cemeteries Conservancy. This organization was started a while back. It's a nonprofit organization, and it's dedicated to preserving and protecting two historic treasures of the village of Ossining, namely Dale Cemetery, which was put on the National Register 2 years ago, and Dale Cemetery, which has been on there for several years. This coming Thursday, 25th of March, we will be having our kickoff event for the year. That will consist of it will be at the community center starting at 7 p.m. It will feature a PBS film called America's Cemeteries, and I think the community that comes out will find it very interesting. We welcome anyone from the community who would like to become a friend of the Ossining Historic Cemeteries Conservancy to come down. There will be refreshments as well. We will be having other programs this year at at both cemeteries. And of course, as we always do every year, there will be 2 major tours of each of these cemeteries. There will be a workshop on cemetery restoration, tombstone restoration, and then our big event of the year is called Forest of Fears. And last year, we had over 200 people attend this event, and it's basically a Halloween event. And it's a family event. It's great fun, and I hope you come out then. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to confirm that the kickoff event is next Thursday, March 26th at the Rec Center, correct?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Hello, I'm Jessica Irons, Mayor, Board. 2 things. I wanted to remind everyone that the Ossining Matters annual concert and benefit is on May 2nd, and it's Jambalaya Brass Band, and tickets are now on sale, www.ossiningmatters.org. And I also wanted to let you know that Theater O is in fact opening. It is a theater school at 25 State Street, and classes start May 4th, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Very good.
Okay, we have one more organizational announcement. The Ossining PTA is going to present Harlem Magic Masters versus the O Dribblers on April the 10th at 7 p.m. at the Ossining High School Gymnasium. It's a fun event. It is much like the Harlem Globetrotters, but they're very interactive with the kids.
I thought you said old dribblers. I'm going, what?
It is the O Dribblers,
Yeah, I thought you said
because
old.
the opposing team are members of the Ossining High School faculty. I
they
think
are
I think the superintendent is going to be one of the participants. But you can get your early bird tickets for $10 if you purchase them before the 27th of March. And after that, they're $12. But it's a real fun event. You can get them at Roosevelt School, AMD School, teachers' conferences, which are Brookside. I think there's one at Claremont on Friday. So, but it really is, Briarcliff had one some months ago. And I went to it, and I'm saying, I'm going to a basketball. It was fabulous. The kids had such a great time because they're out there with the kids. They're autographing their basketballs and teaching them how to spin the ball on their finger. So it's a fun time, and it's a good cause. Thank you. Do we have any village board resolutions that anyone would like to comment on?
Jessica Irons. I just want to say, I think that the Arts Commission is a fabulous, I'm so excited to get started. Almost as excited as I am about Theater O. It's a great group of people, and it's going to be a wonderful thing for our village, and I can't wait to get started. Okay, thanks.
Thank you for agreeing to serve.
Anyone else? Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the March 4th, 2015 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated March 18th, 2015 in the amount of $572,995 and a penny. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that upon the recommendation of the Fire Chief, Daniel Farrell of Ossining, New York, was elected an active member of Cataract Hose Company Number 2 for interior firefighting at the regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, I'll just comment on this briefly. Dan Farrell, I think most of us are very familiar with the Farrell family. Both of his parents are police officers in Ossining, and his father is also very active in the fire department, and so is his sister. So we're thrilled to be adding another member of the Farrell family to become an interior firefighter.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that upon the recommendation of the Fire Chief, Thomas Lynham of Ossining, New York, was elected an active member of Cataract Coast Number 2 for interior firefighting at their regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas this is adoption of local law number 1, 2015, entitled Revision to the Village Code relevant to the village's enforcement of New York State Uniform Code violations. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining has been considering the adoption of a proposed local law 1-2015 entitled Revision to the Village Code relevant to the village's enforcement of New York State Uniform Code violations in response to recent rulemaking activity by the New York State Department of State. And whereas in accordance with the New York State law and after having provided all requisite notice, the Board of Trustees conducted a public hearing on introductory local law number 1, 2015 on March 4th, 2015 at 7:30 p.m. at the Birdsall Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street, Ossining, New York, during which the public had an opportunity to be heard on such proposed local law, and whereas the matter was the topic of further discussion and deliberation at a public meeting on March 11th, 2015, following which the board determined there were no impediments to proceeding with adoption of the proposed local law as drafted. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby adopts local law number 1, 2015, entitled Revisions to the Village Code relevant to the village's enforcement of New York State Uniform Code violations, with such adoption to take effect as set forth in said local law and as otherwise required by law. And be it further resolved that the Village Board directs said local law number 1, 2015 be filed and or distributed in accordance with applicable law. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Trustee DeRio.
Aye.
Trustee Herrera.
Aye.
Trustee Godman.
Aye.
Trustee Cazada.
Aye.
And Mayor Garrity.
Aye.
Resolve the 2014 General, Water, Sewer, and Section 8 Program Funds budgets are modified as described below. 1. The appropriate stop-loss insurance recoveries revenue for additional health insurance expenditures as follows. General Fund, $775,000. Water Fund, $70,000. And Sewer Fund, $25,000. Also to transfer $1,530 from available Section 8 Fund Employee Benefits Appropriation Account to the Section 8 Fund Health Dental Expenditure Account for health insurance expenditures. 2. The General Fund electricity expenditures in excess of the original budget estimates, $111,000 from excess sales tax distribution revenues. 3. For General Fund heat expenditures in excess of original budget estimates, $44,000 net, from unexpended gasoline diesel fuel appropriations of $16,000 net, and from excess cable TV franchise fee revenues of $28,000. 4. To reclassify $30,000 appropriation for the pay study of building and planning departments from account number 0019550-0850 to transfer capital projects funds to account number 0011010-0400 legislative board contractual, as the study was expended from the general fund instead of creating a capital project. 5. To appropriate excess recreation program revenues of $29,000 for recreation department program expenditures in excess of appropriation. Account number 0017140-0110 recreation help part-time, $6,595. 0017140-0454 recreation instructors, recreation programs, $9,972. 0017140-0413 recreation materials and supplies, $12,433. 6. To appropriate surplus PEG grant monies received, $11,830, and PEG reserves to provide for additional PEG equipment, government access expenditures. Note, budgeted $30,000 appropriation, actual expenditure was $54,435. Actual PEG grant revenues received $41,831. 7, in the Section 8 Housing Program Fund, appropriate excess federal government Section 8 program revenues of $40,903 for voucher rent payments to landlords. Appropriate accumulated fund balance of $152,181 and increase the budget by $193,084 for landlord voucher program appropriations. Note that HUD required that the village use its accumulated fund balance as of 12/31/2013, which was $208,627 in lieu of receiving federal grant or federal aid. 8, to transfer $131,665 from the general fund contingency account to the police department budget for estimated accrued police retroactive pay required to be estimated and accrued pursuant to generally accepted accounting principles. 9, to increase the general fund budget by $90,000 for additional bond proceeds issued in excess of adopted budget estimate, with tax certiorari claim expenditure budgets increasing accordingly. And 10, to appropriate the following excess revenues received to be used for police overtime expenditures in excess of adjusted budget in the amount of $210,000 net of available budgetary surplus. 11, to appropriate the following excess revenues received to be used for DPW snow removal expenditures in excess of adjusted budget of $50,935 and for repairs to village sidewalks in excess of adjusted budget of $24,428, a total budget adjustment of $75,363. 12, to transfer $170,965 from the general fund contingency account and $35,000 from the Social Security appropriation budget line for the following purposes, aggregating $205,965. Village clerk for publication and legal notices, $16,172. Municipal building for repairs and maintenance, contractual expenses, $19,983. Rodriguez Operations Center repairs and maintenance, contractual expenses, $12,015. Fire Department, net all accounts, $1,132. DPW street maintenance for road materials and maintenance, $25,437. Parks Department for personal services, contractual expenses, $12,688. Recreation Department for personal services, contractual expenses, $11,564. Pool Department for personal services and contractual expenses, $19,113. Refuse collection and disposal for dumping and tipping fees, plus other expenses aggregating $5,000 for a total of $70,805. And shade trees for contractual tree services in the amount of $17,056. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board. Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Appointment interim village manager. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby appoints Christina Papes to the position of interim village manager to be effective as of close of business March 30th, 2015, with an effective annual stipend of $59,516. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board. Just want to say thank you very much to Christina Papes. As most of us are aware, Christina has been of service to the village literally since she was a teenager. So we're very grateful that she will help ensure that we'll have always a smooth transition in leadership on Village Management Office. Thank you very much for taking that on, Christina.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the village board has been considering the establishment of an arts committee and has interviewed potential candidates who have expressed interest in appointments to such committee. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby establishes an arts committee and appoints the following 8 individuals to initial terms as its charter members. Jessica Irons, 12/2017, Aaron Lear, December of 2016, Alan Ludwig, December of 2017, Alan Marzelli, December 2017, Nicole Moan, December 2017, Mike Risco, December 2016, Robert Stava, December 2016, and Henry Welt, 2016. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board.
Yes, I'd like to speak to the, I guess, an inauguration of the Arts Committee. It's going to be my privilege and pleasure to be the liaison to this committee. These are remarkable individuals in their own right for many of the contributions that they've made to this community, and I'm expecting that the sum of the parts will be greater. That we don't have a mission yet, but we're going to find one, and all these folks have a tremendous investment in the arts, not only performing but visual arts, and I'm excited to work with such dynamic individuals. So you're here.
And John, thank you very much for taking on the leadership role and helping this new committee to get started. This was actually a recommendation of Mayor Hanauer, and I'm very pleased to see it coming to pass here, at least getting started. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That completes your resolutions for this evening. Do we have any continuing business of the board?
No, ma'am?
Do we have any new business of the board?
Well, certainly. Go right ahead.
If I can ask the forbearance of the board, I had written last week, we had a meeting with the CPI 8-HR company. The new Affordable Care Act requires a significant amount of auditing by municipalities to make sure that you're in compliance. At that time, this company, who has done several other communities, gave the village a price of $15,000 for the initial startup, and it requires compliance effective, and first action has to be taken in January of 2016. So they would like to get started like ASAP. They've already started with several other entities. The initial startup cost would be $15,000. After that, the subsequent compliance would be $12,000 annually. It requires an auditing of the time that each employee spends at the municipality to determine whether they have to be afforded health care benefits or not. It also requires certain mandatory filings that have to be made in January of each year. It's an information return that has to go to each employee, and also has to have information about families involved. It's quite extensive. We discussed it last week. I wrote to you very briefly, but in the meanwhile, I asked Linda to reach out to some other companies to see if there were any other competitors, and also to the municipalities that are using them, and they had expressed complete satisfaction with this company. It is mandated. The fines are severe if you don't comply, and that is, there is a several $100 fine per employee if it's deemed to be out of compliance. So I bring this up to you tonight with the hope that we may be able to move forward, because I'd like to start on April 1st. If you want to have more information or we want to discuss it further, we can put it on for the work session. But if we're able to move forward at this time, we can start the paperwork and start moving ahead.
Need a motion, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, because you're authorizing the manager to sign a contract, and it's a one-year contract.
I would like to make a motion that we authorize the village manager, subject to review by the Corporation Council, that we engage
CPI-HR is the name of the
those
company.
guys to do the audit. We need a second, and then we can discuss it.
Is this?
Well,
we have to have a second.
We can
to
second, and
discuss
then we
it.
can ask questions and discuss. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll second the motion.
Just for purposes of discussion.
Now we can have discussion.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess I understand the, I obviously understand the requirement, and obviously there's serious penalties. I mean, I would be more comfortable if we could discuss it in the work session and then go into a legislative session.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to bring it up
yeah,
this evening and then
I
get
just
your
think
direction.
That, I want to get a little bit more information. I know you did send an
Okay.
email about it, but I wasn't expecting it to be on the legislative
Okay,
agenda
that's fine.
tonight. So
Sure.
I'm glad you brought it to our attention now, because it's obviously something we discussed. But I would rather.
Next week? That's fine. It can
Does
be
that
next
allow
week.
us enough time if we
Well,
go
we
into
need to-
legislative
yes.
session next
we
week?
We have a motion, on the table, and we'd have to vote that down. then.
It's fine, then we'll bring it up
agree
next
to-
week.
Agree to table.
Sure.
Or we could just agree to table it, too.
Yeah, we'll just agree to adjourn it
would,
until
yeah.
next week, and we have
Okay.
a work session
We'll
discussion.
put it on for
and then
next
we'll-
week's agenda. Thank you.
Before we do that, hold on a minute, not done yet.
Okay.
I put it on there so we could discuss. My question is can we go into legislative session for the purpose of passing this motion at the work session next Wednesday to give you enough time? And will that give us enough time if we do it that way?
I believe it will. You know, if the contract has to be reviewed, council can do that. If there are any questions, we can try to answer them. I believe it will be timely.
In that case, I can withdraw the motion, I believe, right?
Sure.
There we go.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And is that it for new business from you, Richard? Okay, then I want to take an opportunity here at the legislative session, as Assistant Village Manager Papes acknowledged, next week we'll be really doing a nice low-key celebration, thanking Richard for his service. But I'd like to say, when I first joined the board, even before I got into office, Richard, you were working on the bicentennial celebration, and the bicentennial sculpture exhibit was your idea, and you convinced all the naysayers that this really was something that would be great for Ossining, and you made it happen, and it became a centerpiece for our year-long celebration, and part of your legacy will just be that you've overseen and managed very well so many great things that have happened in Ossining in 5 years. But one physical legacy that came out of that is particularly the dancing milkweeds right on the front lawn of Village Hall that we all get to admire every day. We pass and enter Village Hall. So thank you for that. I also thank you for always making time for me personally whenever I've come to your office and sit down and close the door, and your frankness and candor. Most people, they're just seeing you on camera. They may not realize your sense of humor and your openness, and thank you very much. Robin?
One of the things that I like so much about Richard is he really cares about Ossining, and 20-plus years of service certainly show that. I think he's got a lot of tools in his toolbox and has certainly had many, many roles here. And I think that's something that our community has been blessed with, that commitment and that care and loving this community and always putting that in mind, the decision that he made. I know that I've benefited from his thoughtfulness and from his advice since I began on the board 3 years ago. So I'm thankful to have worked with him, thankful to have worked with you and known you in this capacity. Thanks so much, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard, I want to say 6 years ago, when I started as my interview process for the HPC, committed and see the dynamics that he always had, and he always wanted to bring someone more attention and to actually do a lot more work than we actually are capable to do, and I think he has accomplished that with managers as well. So I want to thank you for all the hard work you have done for our village through the years in all your capacities. I know you heard that from everybody right now, but it's been a pleasure to have worked with you.
Yes, I met Richard when I was 16, and I was campaigning and doing other projects in the village with his corporation council. And I appreciate your help and service, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
Well, shortly after Bill Hanauer twisted my arm to come and be on the board, he said, it's only 1 day a week. So that was the first lie. And I got here, and the job was a lot harder than I thought, and Richard made it easier for me. the frustration of government is that it moves like a glacier. And Richard taught me how to slow down because it wasn't what I was used to. And he was able to explain it in a way that my head didn't explode at every meeting. He taught me many things, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the lessons that I learned from you. But this is starting to sound like a eulogy. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be here.
All right.
He's our friend. He's staying around. And, you know, I'm sure that whatever it is you do next, you will bring to it the same level of professionalism and competency that you brought to the village manager position here in Ossining.
Madam Clerk.
We'll move on to visitor recognition. Is there anyone who would like to address the board?
Good evening.
Good evening to the mayor and the village board and everybody else. I just have one thing for Chris. When is the rec going to be open for the community? Because basketball is going on still, and a lot of people are saying that they can't come to the rec because of basketball. No, I'm talking about it's done. Thank you. Mr. Lyon, I call you Richard, but tonight I'm being nice. I'm calling you Mr. Lyon. Since I've been here dealing with you, you're all over the community, but I see you more in the street doing your job. And you've been really good to me, making time for me. Anything I ask you, you're truthful with me. You tell me what to do. And I'm gonna miss you. I hope I still see you at the supermarkets and everywhere else I go. And whatever you do in life, just keep being who you are. Thank you.
Richard Lyons. Honestly, I have to be honest with you, Daisy Briones. I did not know your face, but I knew your name. And I knew a lot of people talking about Richard Lyons all the time. Finally, I met you like 1 year ago. But something that I can say about you is that you answer my personal emails as a constituent, as a member of the community, and that I really appreciate. Like Valerie, too. She answered some of my emails. So it is important for somebody like of the community like me, they don't know much maybe, when write something about something personal to get back an information that you need. And I have feedback too that you were very nice and conscious with employees. So with the people who were loyal working with you and people working for the community. And I think that is a very important thing when you are running a group of people, that you are always being supporting, mentoring, and you were conscious about the job and the work they do daily. So I want to recognize that for somebody who, you know, knew who was Richard Lyons, but not really personal know you. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for the community for all the years and work that you've been done. And I think we can see and the advance the Ossining is having down about the dedication and work that you did all these years. It's appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? I then have a motion to adjourn for executive session for legal advice and personnel.
So moved.
Second.
On the board. Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And with that, I thank you all for joining us for this week's Village Board meeting, and I hope you will join us next week, March 25th, at Village Hall, 16 Croton Avenue at 7:30 p.m. We have a chock-full agenda of some really terrific items, and join us in person or online. Thank you very much.